And with UCLA losing today, they are 2 ahead in the loss column. Colorado went 9-5, and the Buffaloes have won 5 of their last 6 entering tonight.
What a crowd, what an atmosphere. Boulder, Colorado. My faith in humanity and the future of the world has been restored. We have come to where the Buffalo roam in search of the pot of gold. Here we go, we've got a game.
And Arizona starts with the basketball. Gabe York is starting for the 2nd straight game as Gordon can't finish an alley-oop but is fouled. York starting for Hollis Jefferson, who will come off the bench. As we look at our one-on-one, the focus rebounding, Bill.
Big picture, both rebounding squads are just dominant here. Arizona, they need to buffalo the Colorado squad and rebound. They are 4th in the country in rebound margin. Colorado Buffaloes, it's not how big you are, it's how big you play. When these two squads played down in Tucson, it was not even a contest. They were still recovering. Colorado was from the loss of Spencer Dinwiddie. Arizona came out and played magnificent basketball, but they have righted the ship. They have won a lot of ball games right now, but this is huge here tonight for Tad Boyle's Buffaloes.
And Aaron Gordon missing 2 free throws. He's 6 of his last 25 at the foul line. His numbers have gone down since the injury to Brandon Ashley, missing his 6th straight game. Arizona's 3-2 since he suffered that injury in a loss to Cal when Arizona was ranked #1 in the country. Here's Johnson spotting up, his 3 not there, and Gordon able to get the offensive rebound.
Dominant on the offensive glass. That's Arizona's game. This is their 3rd time.
And finally, they finish with Johnson at the rim for the first points of the game.
Tad Boyle doing a very classy thing here, starting Ben Mills in the center, big number 32 in the white uniform. Oshkosh, Wisconsin, his final game here at home in the Coors.
At his first career start, Josh Scott, who's one of their best players, will come off the bench tonight. Here's Askia Booker, Colorado. We talked about Arizona's big injury. Colorado lost Spencer Dinwiddie about a month ago. Colorado started poorly after they lost him, but playing much better of late.
And those 2 injuries, Dinwiddie and Brandon Ashley, they have totally changed the complex of the entire Pac-12 standings here.
Aaron Gordon hits the deck, got tripped up after a wild shot on the drive. Justin Thomas has it blocked, but a foul called on Arizona. That's on TJ McConnell. Here's the 3rd member of our crew, Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, you mentioned big center, 7-footer Ben Mills getting his first career start tonight. He has played in 54 career games, never started for Colorado. But Coach Tad Boyle told us that his starter, Josh Scott, is the one who actually came to him. He started 27 of 27 games this year and said, hey, I think Ben should get the start. It's also a good matchup for them. At 7 feet, he can get in there and bully with Tarczewski.
Holly, you're right on the mark there, and the camaraderie, the team chemistry, the way this town is rallied around Tad Boyle and what they're doing here with the Buffaloes. This has never been a basketball town. It's always been football, but it's complete reversal now. And Ben Mills, he is already, before this game started, he is the winningest player in the history of Colorado basketball. 89 career wins.
TJ McConnell for 3. His last 5 games, he's averaging 12 points per game. He's really stepped up as a scorer since the Ashley injury. They needed him to, and it's 5-1 Arizona. To your point in Colorado, 20 wins again, 4th straight year with 20 victories as Xavier Johnson can't finish, and York out of there with it.
Beautiful running of the floor.
And a basket by Tarczewski. He's fouled as well, a 3-point chance.
Arizona's made a lineup change of their own. They've gone small here, but the transition, Gabe York, who is normally the 6th man and the best pure shooter and a real basketball guy, and was coming off the bench in the Arizona State game that we had a week ago in that double overtime thriller. He missed every shot he took coming off the bench. So they started in the next game. He had 15 points in the game in the big overtime win at Utah. Gabe York just playing fantastic. And Tarczewski, he can nail free throws.
That's Tarczewski on the year, 79% at the line. Really improved. He was in the low 60s last year at the free throw line. 8-1. Arizona on top.
And that's what Sean Miller wants to do. Establish the tempo early. They're controlling the boards early, and their closeout defense on the perimeter is terrific. What can Askia Booker do about it?
Arizona in the top 10 in most defensive categories nationally. Shot clock at 6. Mills, wild shot. Xavier Johnson there. He can't put it back up. They fight for it, and Tarczewski's got it. You know, Bill, it's a great story that Ben Mills is getting a chance to start, but on defense, we've seen Arizona get to the rim a lot, and then you see a bad shot on offense, and you're in a hole down 8-1.
It's a big risk, but it's a risk that Tad Boyle took. He knew what he was doing. That's how you build programs. That's how you build loyalty. Josh Scott right in there. The fans, they love Ben Mills. They love what he's done here. He's a creative writing major in English. If he had the chance to write his own story, it would have been the greatest story ever told. Who would have ever thought?
Loose ball, you saw Scott come into the game. Meanwhile, Dustin Thomas, the starter, picked up 2 fouls, so he's got to go to the bench. And Wesley Gordon, a freshman who had been banged up earlier in the month, he's back. He's out there now, and he'll defend Gordon. That's a tough matchup for Gordon. For Aaron Gordon against Wes Gordon. Here's Tarczewski in the lane. That's a travel. Yep, turnover by Tarczewski.
And Sean Miller, he'll agree with that call, but he said, I want that same call on Askia Booker, who's been shuffling his pivot feet 30 feet from the basket, and literally every time he touches the ball. Sean Miller is the gold standard of what's going on in Pac-12 basketball.
A win tonight would give him his third 25-win season already at Arizona. Won 30 games, went to the Elite Eight in 2011. Colorado still looking for its first field goal.
But now the game can get started. And the great thing about this place is that this crowd here is a phenomenal force.
Xavier Talton fouled on the three-point shot by York. That's the second on Arizona, and Talton will shoot 3.
Normally when you fall behind early at home, the crowd just feels defeated and they just sit back in their seats. This crowd, I've been here for 48 hours, and these guys, everywhere you go, that's all they want to talk about. It was absolutely spectacular to just be totally re-energized by these fabulous fans here in Boulder. Look at that student section. My goodness gracious.
Well, Tad Boyle is a big reason why. He's 60-8 at home. And a sellout crowd game day here. Bill Walton is here as Talton gets a second free throw. You're here, right?
Was he ever here at all? How about game day coming out here? See all the great guys.
Yeah, I noticed you were talking with Digger today. I guess he's forgiven you for calling him the devil on national television a month ago.
I've lost my self-respect. I have no dignity. Nick Johnson to the hoop.
And he finger rolls it in. 10-3 Arizona. That's 4 points for Nick Johnson. 4 minutes gone by. Booker with a great step back. And Colorado still without a field goal 4 minutes in. The Buffaloes are 0 for 5.
Colorado not rebounding on the defensive end and not getting any good looks offensively. Everything going well for Sean Miller.
McConnell off the window. Arizona played probably its best offensive game since the Ashley injury on Wednesday against Utah. Scott missing inside. York trying to push the pace here. Remember, in the first meeting it was 18-4 Arizona. And it's 12-3 here in the second meeting.
And Colorado never recovered.
And Johnson gets the roll. That's his third basket, all at the rim. It's 14-3.
Where's the offense going to come from? Who's going to be that guy that steps up? It's got to be one of either Josh Scott, Askia Booker with the ball, or Big X Johnson out in front with the three-point line right now.
And he'll take it, but can't hit it. Still no field goals in 5 minutes for Colorado. They're 0 for 7.
Colorado should spread the floor and let Askia Booker get to the hoop and try to get to the free throw line.
Tarczewski, quick catch and shoot, but can't finish, and boarded by Gordon of Colorado.
Gordon just coming off a serious leg and ankle injury, suffered in a fall on the ice just before the trip to Los Angeles, where he was unable to play at all.
That's the only loss at UCLA in the last 6 games for the Buffaloes. That's a foul on Aaron Gordon as Booker got him off his feet. That's the third on Arizona. The Wildcats rolling early, leading Colorado by 11.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DIRECTV.
Welcome to Saturday Primetime, presented by DirecTV. Arizona with an 11-point lead. Still no field goals for Colorado. 14-3 Wildcats as we check in with Holly Rowe.
Well, both of these teams have had very similar seasons. There's some real parallels here. Both got off to great starts. 10-1 for Colorado, 21-0 for Arizona, their best start in school history. Big win against Kansas for Colorado, the #1 ranking for 8 weeks, but then both suffered significant injuries. Spencer Dinwiddie went out with a knee injury. Brandon Ashley for Arizona, and they have struggled since. Both teams trying to find their identity. Colorado seems a little more settled, but Arizona still looking for answers. In the second game tonight, Gabe York getting a start. They're saying he can help stretch the floor, do better spacing a little bit for Arizona, who struggled to score without Brandon Ashley. We'll see if they can really cement that identity tonight.
And Holly, it's not a punishment that Hollis Jefferson is coming off the bench, because he's as good a player as Brandon Ashley. They just need some offense from someone off the bench consistently.
Hollis Jefferson is a different type of player. He's not nearly as long, not nearly as big. Brandon Ashley is 6'10", 6'11", and Hollis Jefferson maybe 6'7". I'd like to welcome Holly to the promised land here in the Pac-12. She's been stuck over there in the Big 12 for all those years, but now she has come where we have the good stuff here in Colorado. Yeah. Well, with all the bricks that Colorado has thrown up here in the opening moment, 0 for 7. They could use those bricks in the repaving of Highway 36 that they're working on here. Can't believe that they didn't put a light rail system in on that road.
You've been complaining a lot about highways lately. In Los Angeles last week, we heard about the 405 for the entire second half.
I just need to get to Highway 61, that's all.
Here's Aaron Gordon spinning on Josh Scott. Pretty move, but he threw up a brick and rebounded by Wesley Gordon. So Colorado now almost 6 minutes without a field goal. All 3 points coming at the line. But a lot of that is the defense by Arizona. Great defense. Wild shot there. Elliot Pitts on the floor. He's a freshman playing in his 13th game. He's getting minutes now because of the Ashley injury. Hollis Jefferson almost got it to go. And a Colorado foul on Wesley Gordon. Let's take a look at the smart investments that Arizona has made this season, Bill, with its tough defense, brought to you by Ameritrade.
They're 5th in the country in points allowed, 6th in field goal percentage, and 4th in rebounding margin. Now, that becomes your foundation. So they're just going to keep you in every game, the way that Syracuse is in every game. But now the question for Arizona is, they think big picture, what can they do offensively to build on that and get to that championship level? They're the best team in the Pac-12, but their sights are bigger. And, you know, they have the greatest fan base. Every game they play is huge. Every game goes right down to the wire. And these young stars like Hollis Jefferson and Nick Johnson, T.J. McConnell, Elliot Pitts, Gabe York, what a team, what a franchise they've got.
Arizona 1 of 5 on free throws, and that's been a problem this year for the Wildcats near the bottom of the conference in that category. Jordan Mays on the floor. Now, he hasn't been playing a whole lot, but they're giving him some minutes. Scott drives and rejected by Tarzewski, and it was last touched by Scott. Arizona ball, Colorado 0 for 9. By the way, Syracuse losing twice, so they're going to drop out of the top few, as you see the block here by Tarzewski. Bill, who do you think should be #1? Wichita State, which is still undefeated, or Florida?
Florida. I don't know enough about Wichita State to say that they're undefeated, but they don't play the schedule that Florida has played. And Florida's playing fabulous ball.
Booker turns it over after they had a fast break opportunity. Here's Pitts, a 3. It goes, and it's 17-3. That's only the 5th three-pointer all season for Pitts.
And now the crowd is sensing, hey, we're up against it right here. Who's going to be the one guy who's just going to come up and say, hey, look, we got to get going offensively here. But nobody's able to create their own shot, and the defense for Arizona is just too solid.
Booker with a screen from Scott. Missed badly on the 3, and Gordon is fouled on the second opportunity, so he'll shoot 2. 4th on Arizona.
In transition, the ball pulls it back out after they get to the free throw line, and then that constant theory of how we're going to play. Penetration and dish. Tad Boyle talking about Colorado's defense for tonight. He said, look, when that guy comes into the lane, make him a shooter, make him a scorer. If we allow those penetrators like McConnell or Mays that time to kick out to Nick Johnson, to Gabe York to Elliot Pitts, we're not going to have a chance. And right now, he is proving to be the estimated prophet.
Nick Johnson got inside 3 times for the layups. Another free throw. Gordon gets them both. Colorado, though, 0 for 10 from the field. Tarzewski on the baseline, facing up. He'll take the jumper. And Xavier Johnson with a rebound. 12-point Arizona lead.
Learning how to play in the big games under the bright lights. With Reese Davis and Jay Williams sitting right here at center court. How incredibly important that is. Arizona, they're used to that. Every game they play is just like that. This is the biggest game a lot of these guys for Colorado have ever played in.
Johnson missed it. They're 0 for 11 from the floor. Now 8 minutes without a field goal. Arizona's defense is good, but they're not this good. Hollis Jefferson doesn't sense the double team. Jump stop and score for Hollis Jefferson, and a 3-point opportunity.
The game is becoming mental. And right now, Colorado is totally out of sync. Tad Boyle, very frustrated here on Saturday primetime on ESPN. What can he do to breathe life and turn the lights back on here?
Now you got to wonder where the bright lights at Colorado is too high, not just on offense, but on defense, as they're allowing Arizona to get some easy baskets. Wildcats 57% from the floor.
Dave, defense leading to offense, and then defining the terms of the conflict, crashing the offensive board. Nick Johnson, just exquisite. And then Tarzewski, dominant inside. All the little guys, the pretty boys, Gabe York able to push the ball up the court. Big men running and rewarded nicely. The defense playing as a unit, thinking together. The reach down low, then the penetration, and then the dish. 3-point shooting, Elliot Pitts, Gabe York able to knock it down, all because of the anchor of the big man. The numbers here tonight, Colorado has yet to score. Goodness gracious.
A field goal. They do have the
a stolen basket.
Yep. How about the rebounding? They're -7. The other night, Bill, against Arizona State, they were +21 as they beat the Sun Devils and got their 20th win.
Has there ever been a game where a team failed to make a basket the entire game?
Maybe back in the 1920s.
I talked to a guy here today, just before the game, who played against Wilt here on the campus here back in Bolts Fieldhouse. When Wilt came here, held him to 6 points. Or so he said.
Is there a score sheet? Would you read it if there was one from that game?
Great defense by T.J. McConnell.
Here's Booker, the shot clock at 6. Got Hollis Jefferson on him. Booker can't shake him. And missed again. Colorado 0 for 12. No field goals in 8:45.
Hollis Jefferson and Nick Johnson, two of the most outstanding lockdown, clamp in-your-face defenders in all of the land.
Johnson off the bounce, lets it go, and splashes it through. It's a great start for him because he's been struggling. 27% shooting his last 5 games coming into tonight.
when he shoots like that, he's virtually unstoppable because his defense, his intangibles, the rebounding, the passing, his commitment to the team are all over the top perfect.
Booker going to drive on McConnell.
Great defense here by Arizona. Again, they've got numbers.
Johnson, a three. Not there. And Booker looking to push tempo. 21-5. Arizona. Booker slashing into the lane. Blocked again. Johnson rejected it. Numbers. 4-on-2. McConnell.
Great passing.
Can't hit it though. But Tarczewski the offensive rebound. And that's a foul. Tarczewski will shoot two as Arizona completely dominated on both ends in every category.
They're just outworking them. They're running harder. They're playing smarter. They're bigger. They're stronger. They are buffaloing the home team here. Now, Nick Johnson, who is Dennis Johnson's nephew. Dennis Johnson used to play on the Boston Celtics, was a Hall of Fame player. I was his teammate years ago, and I was talking to one of my other teammates, Scott Wedman, last night on the phone as I was driving through campus.
Yeah.
And it was just beautiful. I was talking to Scotty about when he played here, and he was a huge star in 70 through 74. And we were talking about I was telling him about Nick Johnson, and we were talking about how great Dennis Johnson was and how similar they are in terms of not that big, not that cut in terms of just being ripped, but the physical capabilities to be able to play against guys who are bigger and stronger than you are, the way that Dennis Johnson used to, the way that Nick Johnson now does, just absolutely incredible. Thank you, Scott Wedman. Thank you, Dennis Johnson.
We were talking about you last night. We were showing some of the great Laker-Celtic matchups featuring Dennis Johnson, Larry Bird, Bill Walton.
Well, I was lucky.
And an 86 championship team. Here's Talton inside the arc. Not going to shoot it. Now a three by Hopkins. And finally, 9:48 on the clock. Colorado gets a basket.
Okay, so now we know there's not a lid on it. And the crowd still ready, still believing.
York can't answer.
Eli Seltzer.
See if they get Scott a touch. He's got Korchek on him, who hasn't played a lot of minutes this year. And Scott, very skilled big. They go to him here. And he's fouled on the way to the goal by Korchek. Pair of top 10 teams on ESPN Monday night, first at 7. We don't know where Syracuse will be ranked after a home loss to BC and the loss tonight at number 5 Duke. The Orange face Maryland, and at 9. Oklahoma taking on Kansas, which was blowing out Texas earlier tonight. Big Monday presented by Verizon, part of Bracket Builder Week, 7 and 9 on ESPN Monday.
Josh Scott and all these big men in the Pac-12, they have to learn how to not get pushed off the box. Turn and face your defender until you're ready to receive. But Josh Scott, from Colorado Springs, oldest of 5 children, he has had great success this year against the bigger guys, including really taking apart Baczynski, who was just in here the other night.
5-0 run by Colorado. McConnell, that one spins out. And the Buffaloes looking to push the pace. Scott beats his man down floor. And almost the steal by McConnell.
Now this guy, Big X, he's got to get going.
Johnson takes it away. And then Johnson can't finish, but Colorado touched it last. A lot of contact. Contact by both Nick Johnson and a couple of Colorado players, but they let it go. And so it's just Arizona ball on the baseline.
This crowd is awesome. I believe. Thank you, Colorado. Thank you, Boulder.
When did you get here, by the way? Dare I ask?
Not soon enough. I needed Boulder badly.
Oh, boy. Here's Aaron Gordon. And he can't score again at the rim. Rebounded by Josh Scott.
Shot selection for Aaron has to improve. Nobody seems to be helping him, giving him an easy look right in the lane. They tried the dunk at the opening possession and never came back to him.
Arizona's missed its last 6 shots from the floor, but still a 12-point lead as we near the 8-minute mark here in the first half. Arizona 24-2. Started 21-0. Colorado with 20 wins. Likely an NCAA tournament team, but a win tonight would all but seal the deal for the Buffaloes in the big dance. Hopkins, and too much dribbling there, and then a bad shot. And now York. Good defense by Talton. He just stood there. but it was deflected last by Colorado, so it's Arizona ball when we come back.
The only ceiling right now has been done by the Arizona Wildcats, who have completely shut down the offensive attack. The defense, the long rebound, Gabe York right up the lane, beautiful. It'll be Wildcat ball when we come back.
Bad call.
What are you talking about?
Colorado shooting 6%, 1 of 16. They're not even getting calls from the officials. They ruled that it's Arizona ball after TJ McConnell York clearly touched it last. I mean, it wasn't even close to touching Xavier Talton. Just an awful call.
I disagree with you.
You're kidding, right?
No, because you could have easily put Gabe York on the line. So instead of putting him on the line and calling a foul, which was not that much, just give Arizona the ball back over the...
Oh, my goodness, Aaron Gordon.
Now that's called helping your teammates. Beautiful pass, TJ McConnell, and what explosiveness by this Comet Aaron Gordon.
His eyes were at the rim when he threw that baby down. 24-10. Arizona on top. Colorado 1 of 16 from the floor. Booker is 0 for 5. Scott, a rare jumper from him from just inside the arc. He's averaging close to 16 per game in conference. Tarczewski on the catch. And
offensive foul
on Tarczewski is Scott through the charge, and that's the first on Caleb.
Baseline out of bounds, over the top, beautiful screen by the Wildcats on the move. That looks like Nick Johnson setting that screen, but what an explosive play. He just kept going up. Is there a trampoline out there?
He is an elite leaper. A freshman out of San Jose, Wooden Award midseason top 25, and USA Basketball Male Athlete of the Year.
And while we're on that, congratulations to Sean Miller, who's going to now work with the USA national team for the under-18. He's going to help Billy Donovan work with the really young guys this summer. That'll be fantastic for everybody involved, including Arizona basketball. What a recruiting tool.
Booker now 0 for 6 for Colorado. Here's Johnson. He'll take the 3. Again, off target from long range.
The closeout defense by Arizona has been superb.
That's been the case all year. And then somehow Eli Stalzer gets to the basket and scores. So that's the second field goal
And the crowd
Third
is
field goal for
alive.
Colorado. We're back within 10.
Couple baskets, and we got a game. And the crowd here knows that.
Tarczewski hits the short jumper.
Beautiful execution. That's championship response right there. In the face of the crowd, pushing back in their seats.
How about the minutes he's played? Out of a possible 95, because they had the double overtime game and then the overtime game Wednesday. Tarczewski's played 85 minutes. And look at him run past this man. He was open there, but Gordon just getting it across half court.
But just think of the strength and conditioning coach for the Wildcats, Chris Rounds. Marvelous job. You can see it in just the young guys, Aaron Gordon, Gabe York. The progress that Tarczewski has made. Josh Scott starting to get a rhythm here. He hit that jumper. Some balls are starting to bounce his way.
Booker drives the paint, got Tarczewski off his feet, but now into traffic and almost turned it over. Now Stalzer, bailed out with a foul. He was off balance, had no chance of making that. And a mistake by Hollis Jefferson. He got too close. And that's 2 fouls on him. It'll be 3 free throws for Eli Stalzer.
You never want to foul a jump shooter, but that's good defense. He just gets vertical there, and Eli Stalzer he's just too good, too smart, too crafty to earn his trip to the line.
Are you saying things tonight just to get me upset? You said that was good defense?
That is good defense. Arizona closes out better than any team that I've seen in college basketball.
I think Sean would disagree with you.
Well, the coach is never happy. That's the problem with being a coach. You can't have fun. Although he did have his children here today, and they could play. Cameron and Braden, just a couple of real little tiny children who could stroke jumpers and were dribbling behind their back and through their legs. It was so fun to watch them.
Hey! Now I know why you were never a coach, except for in celebrity games.
I wanted to be a dad, and I didn't want to care who wins.
Scott. Foul. Let's see if they count it. They might. That looked like it was on the way down. But no, they're going to say the 2-shot foul. That's 2 on Tarczewski. No goaltending on Gordon. And now Scott a chance to get the deficit down to 8. Let's see.
Beautiful.
Is it on the way down? Oh, yeah, clearly. Another missed call. That's 2 points. Are you going to disagree with that?
I want to see it again in live action. Let's see it in quick. Don't slow it down.
1 more free throw for Josh Scott, 80% foul shooter. You're getting your wish here.
That's a good block. That's a good block.
I'm done. Second free throw good for Scott. 26-18, 5 minutes to go here in the first half.
Look at this crowd.
Pitt's going to try to silence him. Rattles in and out for 3. And now Gordon commits his second foul. So both Aaron Gordon and Tarczewski with 2 personals apiece. 19th foul in Arizona, so 1-1 on the other end.
At practice today, Tad Boyle was superb. He said, guys, we're good enough to win this game. We got to make it our pace. We got to use our speed. Our endurance is better. We're a deeper team. We're going to be playing at home. Our crowd will not ever let us get tired, and now that's starting to come into play.
Their last win against a top 4 team was back in 2003. That was against Texas here in Boulder.
How about the Kansas game this year? That was a heck of a game.
That was a marquee win for their resume. And it was Skia Booker hit a 30-footer at the buzzer to beat Kansas.
I watched that game. That was incredible.
They also knocked off Arizona here last year when they were ranked number 9. But Colorado had Spencer Dinwiddie for that game. Dinwiddie out for the year with a torn ACL suffered about a month ago.
And he's here tonight, sitting behind the bench. How cool is that? He's still on crutches, as is the other one, Fletcher, who was operated on the same day.
Scott kept that alive off the Johnson miss.
But since the Dinwiddie injury, Colorado is 6-4. The loss is 2 to UCLA, 1 to Arizona, and 1 to Arizona State.
Great pass by Booker. Scott with a bucket. And it's a 5-point game. And a timeout by Arizona.
We've got a game. How lucky are we to be high in the Rockies in Boulder?
So after not getting a field goal for about the first 12 minutes of the game, Colorado has gone on a 16-4 run in a 5-minute span. And back within 5 with 4:37 to go in the first half.
A lot of that has been Josh Scott. He's come to work tonight. He's not the explosive kind who just going to do it all by himself, but his footwork is very solid. He can convert jumpers, and he's stabilized the middle.
He's got 8 points and 6 rebounds. Hollis Jefferson off balance, could not finish. Remember, Scott didn't start, electing for his teammate Ben Mills on senior night to get his first career start. Scott elected to come off the bench, and he's played great so far.
Classy move by a fantastic young man, Josh Scott. His parents here tonight, both of them officers in the Air Force, where they met down in Colorado Springs while in college. How cool.
Here's Xavier Johnson. Finds an open Talton, but that lane closed quickly as the space was eaten up by Nick Johnson. The shot clock down to 3. And Scott has to let it fly short. And York with a rebound.
Gabe York, goodness gracious, rebounding, defending, running the floor, setting up other people, becoming a real physical specimen force out there.
Starting his 3rd game, 2nd straight.
That's great defense by Askia Booker.
Nick Johnson, the leading scorer for Arizona with 8, but he's missed his last 3 shots. Hollis Jefferson somehow put it in. He lost it on the baseline, avoided stepping on the end line, and then scores. Beautiful move.
Colorado, Tad Boyle, these fans, this conference needs more from the man with the ball right now, Big X Johnson. He is too good, too promising, too talented, too big and strong, and he's just not getting it done right here in the biggest game of his life.
He's 0 for 4 from the field, and he's had some big games this year. Booker's 3, a brick, rebounded by McConnell. Xavier Johnson at 27 against Washington. At 21 in the first game at Arizona, was 4 of 5 from 3 back on January 23rd in a Wildcat win. Arizona leading by 7. McConnell able to get it to go. It's back to a 9-point edge for the 4th-ranked team in the country.
We see Arizona all the time, and well, we should. They're the best. They are exquisite out of timeouts. They regroup, they recover, they come out, they reestablish themselves. That's the mark of greatness. That's the mark of solid leadership. Sean Miller getting it done.
Scott going to go to work on Korchek, an inferior defender. Scott able to take advantage of the matchup, and he's got 10 points now in 15 minutes off the bench.
I disagree. Korchek is an outstanding defender. He's big, he's solid, he knows what to do. That's just a better offensive move.
Inside 2 minutes to go in the first half. 7-point lead for Arizona. It was 21-5 at one point. Hollis Jefferson. Shot clock at 7.
Nice defense, Josh Scott.
Going to go back to Hollis Jefferson through the lane, and Scott defended it beautifully. Got a piece of that shot attempt. 90 seconds left in the half.
Little X Talton done a nice job out there. Sterling, Colorado, out on the edge of the edge.
As Tad Boyle said, it is definitely in the middle of nowhere. As Korchek gets the rebound. Boy, Scott really wanted to go one-on-one against Korchek. Johnson draws contact and will go to the line. 2 free throws coming up. They get Hopkins for the personal, his first.
Nick Johnson able to get to the hoop, turn that corner going right. Saturday primetime right here. Aaron Gordon throwing it down high above the rim. Then Josh Scott comes right back, able to get it down. We've got a game here in Colorado.
Bet Berry in studio with an update on the only unbeaten team in college basketball. Wichita State well on their way to going 29-0. Fred VanVleet, look at the dish to Darius Carter. Wheat Shockers rolling right now, 66-38. Some other scores from around the country. Stanford upsets UCLA. Jim Boeheim ejected. Find out why with Reese Davis, Digger Phelps, Jay Will at the half. For now, back to Boulder.
And Matt, you'll see Wichita State as part of our journey to the tourney game on Tuesday when the Shockers take on Bradley, which is 11-17 on the year. ESPN's Journey to the Tourney Tuesday at 9 on ESPN2. Colorado without a field goal from its starters, yet trailing Arizona by 7. They're starting to get fired up. Ben Mills on senior night, his family in attendance, and they were getting the student section going, Bill, during the break.
On the left is his mom, Sue. In the middle is his sister, Katie. And on the right, his dad, Pat. Now, they're from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. His dad's an engineer. His mom is a nurse. He's got 2 other sisters. Ben does, who's back in the lineup now. They're both school teachers down in North Carolina. They couldn't get away to come here tonight. But what a great scene. One more Saturday night right here in Boulder.
How about the fact they're putting him back in? They started him because it's senior night, but he's back out there here late in the first half as Nick Johnson gets the first free throw. Colorado started 0 for 14. It was 22-5 Arizona midway through the first half, but Colorado has cut it to an 8-point game. We'll see how they close the final minute. Johnson misses the second free throw. Colorado ball. Arizona struggling at the line so far in this game. 3 of 9. 3 of 10, excuse me.
Quite all right. Tad Boyle gone so deep in his bench. The only real regular who's got up there is Askia Booker. Can he get anything done? Beautiful penetration.
But an air ball 3. Mills keeping it alive, but controlled by Arizona.
The student section for Colorado, they have been all over Sean Miller all night. They've got him plastered all over the big heads down there. They're ready.
No Walton big head tonight. They had one at Oregon the other night from your Blazer days.
I brought my own. It's on top of my neck.
About a 12-second difference between game and shot clocks.
The poise, the confidence that Arizona has from playing all these big games. Run the floor, Askia, come on, you only got 17 seconds.
Well, they want to hope for the final shot, and they've got to use a timeout, so they'll take it here. And that'll allow them to drop a play here to try to cut the deficit to 6, maybe 5, going into the locker room. Speaking of halftime, the Mazda halftime report. Controversial finish at Cameron. Was it a block? Was it a charge? You know, and I've been, obviously I went to Syracuse and called their games for a few years, but I've been around Jim Boeheim for 20 years. I've never, ever seen him react that way. Marcus Smart back for Oklahoma State. And the guys will talk about it at halftime.
Jim Boeheim, a legend. A tough call on the road. That's why you have officials. It's not call your own. You don't get to make the call when you're the ref. But games like this are so critically important to the Pac-12. And the exposure that ESPN brings and the recruiting possibilities of guys, they look at this crowd and they say, wow, we can go be a part of that. All the parents here, senior night, what Tad Boyle does in terms of building loyalty. Arizona already has all that. Every game they play is like that. Colorado, the rest of the schools in the conference, they don't have that luxury. So this is just so critically important what Larry Scott has done in building this whole conference. Just truly remarkable. Congratulations.
Now, the scene last Friday, Arizona State was equally intense. Colorado with a chance to take the final shot here. 10 seconds to go in the half. Trying to get it to Booker, who's 0 for 7 from the floor. Booker with 5 seconds left. Tries to get between 2 defenders. Hangs and scores in the final second. His first field goal. And it comes at the horn to cut the Arizona lead to 6.
A reason to believe. It hasn't happened for Ski Booker at all. Price High School, Los Angeles, with 2 defenders on him. Both of them in the air. The fadeaway hits nothing but net there. Fantastic. Colorado back in it. One more Saturday night, the rock and stroke of midnight. Here we go.
Yeah, Holly Rowe standing by with Sean Miller.
Well, Coach, your defense was swarming in that first half. They get off to an 0 for 14 start. Then Josh Scott starts heating up. What do you do differently defensively with him?
Well, he's a very good player, as you know. And for us, if we trap him, we have to execute. If we don't, we have to provide help. But, you know, the old story sometimes is very simple. we have to block out when they miss a free throw. 5 of their 25 points came on them getting a second shot on a missed free throw. He got both of them. So, you know, sometimes it just comes down to this: who rebounds better, who blocks out better, and who keeps it simple. And for us, we knew they're going to make a run. We're not 25 points better than them. So it's about us coming out after halftime and playing good basketball.
Thank you, Coach.
And how about no field goals by a Colorado starter until the buzzer as Askia Booker banks it in. 31-25, Arizona at the half. Mazda halftime report coming up.
Welcome to the Mazda Halftime Report.
Glad to have you with us on the Mazda Halftime Report. Aaron Gordon's only field goal of the first half. Arizona at 1 point had a 17-point lead. But Colorado, despite miserable shooting, just down by 6 at the break. Reese Davis, Digger Phelps, and Jay Williams here. Earlier tonight, Cameron endured the rematch between Duke and Syracuse. The first one was memorable because of the high level of play. This one memorable for a far different reason. Jim Boeheim, Coach K together, Jabari Parker. This run over by Michael Benajay draws the foul. Benajay, the Duke transfer. Boeheim thought it should have been an offensive foul. Parker converted at the line, 3-point play. Duke up by 3. Rashid Suleiman beats Rodney Hood. Grant Hill in attendance. Hood misses, but Parker's there, Jay Will.
Well, Parker, one of the most dominant freshmen in the game, and just has a knack for making big-time plays in big-time atmospheres.
Syracuse hangs around Digger Jeremy Grant.
Grant just knows when to go after people, knows how to score, gets it done inside. Big night for him, 17 points.
Syracuse down by 3. Tyler, Merry Christmas to Rakeem as Rakeem flushes it. Under 15 to go. C.J. Fair going baseline. They wave it off. Offensive foul, and Boeheim loses it. I mean, he completely goes berserk. Flips out. 2 technical fouls. Tony Green runs him, so his first trip to Cameron, he gets thrown out. Very close call. Called it against Syracuse. Duke won by 6.
I thought the game was extremely well officiated, as well as any game we've had all year. And don't laugh. It's not. I do make jokes, but that's not a joke. The new rule is it's a block. That's the new rule. It's been explained 100 times. CJ got in his motion. I saw the replay, and the guy was moving. That's it. Simple as that. It's a new rule. It's a block, and you know, I just wanted to see if I still had it in me to go out there, and I did. I got out there pretty good. I thought I was quick. I stayed down, and I didn't get injured. I just thought that was the worst call of the year, that's all. And I just hated to see the game decide on that call.
Oh, Boeheim is an absolute beauty. Now, here's what Jim referred to. Under the revised block charge call, men's basketball, defensive player not permitted to move into the path of an offensive player once he has started his movement, his upward motion with the ball to attempt a field goal or a pass. If the defensive player is not in legal guarding position by this time, it is a blocking foul. Now, you had a couple of times in the first game. You also had a controversial call at the end that we'll revisit in just a moment. But let me just ask you flat out, did you think it was a charge or a block? What did you think?
I thought he had the defensive position. I really did. I thought he was established, and then when I saw him go up and leave his feet, to me, it was the right call. I just thought that it was a charge, in my opinion. And then there's still 10 seconds, so fine, let it go. Now get a quick foul, you're back in. See, he's there.
Well, that's the big thing, Digger. I mean, and Boeheim handled it with some grace and some humor at the end. However, it's understandable he would be upset. It is inexcusable to end the game with 2 technical fouls at the end. That cannot happen.
I agree with you. Jim Boeheim lost his composure.
Yes.
Now, the rule is you have to be there upon the gather. I don't think he was there.
Well, upward motion.
Upward motion. I thought it was a blocking. But in the first game, I thought Rodney Hood got fouled too. It doesn't come down to only one play. These are plays that's going to make it a great rivalry.
Now, you want to talk about rivalry. How about the 2 memorable plays on the call and the non-call?
Exactly.
It was certainly not as vociferous, but Duke was very upset about the play in the first game where Rodney Hood was driving in, trying to dunk the ball, and apparently got fouled in overtime, down by 1.
To come across somebody's body right there, I thought that was a foul.
There it is, right here.
They're coming across the body.
Now, this was a no call, and that was clearly a foul. So basically, I think you tweeted it out a few minutes ago in this series, home team's not going to get a call.
No,
right?
Yeah, you can't get a call. It happens. But you know what? Let's say about this. Duke, I did think, did a really good job of hitting the middle of the zone. They got Musakita, foul trouble. Hakeem Christensen foul trouble. And Jabari Parker had another big-time game.
2 things happened in this game. In game 1 up at Syracuse, Grant and Fear combined for 52. They only had 29 tonight. They shot 57%. Credit Duke's defense tonight. They held them to 39%. A big difference in Duke's defense in this game.
Now, I should have said that you tweeted home teams get the call. Both of them did in the first game, and maybe there will be a third one in the ACC tournament. The return of Marcus Smart. Boy, wait till you see what he did this afternoon.
This halftime report is presented by Mazda. Conviction, creativity, courage. This is the Mazda way. Welcome back to the Mazda Halftime Report.
Welcome back to Boulder. Louisville and Cincinnati today. Patino and the Cardinals growing beards until they lose. Cardinals have been hot. Russ Smith, oh, that is a great dime from Smith and Montrezl Harrell. Louisville up by 1. Cincinnati made a couple of free throws. Russ ridiculous. Going to get it back and bury it, Jay Will.
And how about that's a floater jump shot. That's not a regular jump shot. Over the extended hand. Another big-time shot by Russ Dickless.
Fear the Beards. The reigning national champions have won 6 in a row. First time they've beaten a ranked team this year. LSU and Kentucky. And man, the Cats had far more trouble than they bargained for. LSU won the game in Baton Rouge overtime. Andre Stringer lays it in, but how about Julius Randle coming up with a putback to save the Cats?
Randle, this is one game they needed to get in overtime, and this is what happens. Inside, get it back, go up strong, put it in.
After Young lost it, Randle cleaned it up. Randle only 8 points. Those were 2 big ones. And James Young would get the steal, and Kentucky hangs on in overtime. 77-76. After a 3-game suspension resulting from Marcus Smart's altercation with a Texas Tech fan in Lubbock, Smart back to take on Texas Tech, and boy, did he dominate.
Oh, my God. How about 16 points, 10 assists, 6 steals, 2 blocks?
And what about, he created for everybody and scored 2.
You wondered if he was going to be hesitant coming into this ball game.
Yeah.
He played with great passion and great intensity.
As you watch Marcus Smart, and Digger went down the stat line. Good dish to LeBron Nash. 16, 10 dimes, 6 steals, 2 blocks. He's only the second guy since the turn of the century to do that. Real quick, adjustments in the second half an hour game.
Starters, first 4 minutes. You went 1 for 16 in the first half. You're only down 6 after being down 17. Get back in the game with the original game plan.
If I'm Colorado on pump, you only had 1 field goal in the first 12 minutes of the ball game. You're right there.
I think you got him right where you want him. You miss your first 14 shots. You're only down by 6 at the break. Colorado's in excellent shape. Scott knocking down the shot. Arizona's hanging on to a 6-point lead.
This halftime report is presented by Mazda. Conviction, creativity, courage. This is the Mazda way.
Welcome to Saturday Primetime, presented by DirecTV. Arizona led 22-5, but Colorado a 20-9 close to the half, and the Buffaloes only down 6 despite 0 of 14 from the floor to start the game. They shoot 22% as a team for the half. Arizona started hot and then struggled the last 8 minutes. They won the battle of the boards and the battle in the paint, plus 10 points in the paint in that first half. Dave Pasch, Hall of Famer Bill Walton, Holly Rowe here as well. It's incredible, Bill, that Colorado is in this game, despite the fact they played so poorly offensively the first 12 minutes.
They got a lot of good things going for them, so don't worry about tomorrow. You'll know it when it comes. What they need to do is get some sort of offensive rhythm. Their key guy, Josh Scott, who didn't start this game because of senior night, he scored 10 big points there in the first half, so he'll be fine. Askia Booker and Big X Johnson, they're the ones that have to come alive here. This crowd has got everybody so pumped up and so energized here. It's bound to be a fantastic finish here on one more Saturday night in Boulder.
Let's check in with Holly.
There was a point in the first half when in a timeout, Tad Boyle told his team, guys, don't panic. This is going to be a long game. We've got to have patience. So I just asked him at halftime, why didn't you panic? You were 0 for 12 from the field at that point. He said, we've been down before. I believe in our guys and the pace and tempo we can play with this game. He said, the way we're going to get back here in the second half, stops will bring us back.
Tad Boyle is great for the Pac-12, great for this school, great for this environment here. They've got a cutout of him down there on the Pearl Street Mall, and Josh Scott right out of the gate.
That's the 7th basket by Colorado. Josh Scott has 4 of them. The rest of the team is 3 of 21, and the Buffaloes back within 4. But a good possession by Arizona to start the second half. Tarczewski with an easy 2.
Arizona's execution out of a set, being able to come out of the halftime, out of a timeout, off a free throw, just outstanding.
That's off the knee of Booker. He turned it over.
He took one too many dribbles.
Leading scorer in that first half for Arizona was Nick Johnson with 9 points, but he missed his last 3 shots. And as you see here, Booker clearly lost it. First turnover, though, since about the midway point of the first half by Colorado. They only turned it over 3 times. Arizona 4 times in the first half.
Too many of the Buffaloes are playing like they're still in the wake of the floods here that just devastated so much of this beautiful area.
McConnell's 3 too strong. Colorado ball. And they go to Scott on the low block. That pass got deflected. McConnell and Johnson are so good on the perimeter as defenders getting their hands in passing lanes. Xavier Johnson. Johnson was 0 for 4 from the floor in the first half. Here's Tolton. That's a 2. And it's good. And it's back to a 4-point game. A minute and a half gone by.
Little X, Xavier Tolton, his ability to come alive here. Got an incredible character.
Johnson able to rattle that one home. A 2-pointer for him and a timeout by Sean Miller.
Sean Miller wants to make sure this crowd doesn't just take over this entire environment here. He's doing his best to keep things together for the Wildcats.
Well, the Pac-12 tournament in Las Vegas is going to be outstanding this year. There are about 7 or 8 teams that could win it, and Colorado's one of them. But if the Buffaloes don't win the Pac-12 tournament and get the automatic bid, they still have a really good case as an at-large. They're 20-7, 9-5 in conference play. Their RPI is good because of wins against Kansas and Oregon when it was a top 10 team.
Arizona State here. The Washington game, the bad loss at the beginning, at the bottom of the graphic there, that was when Dinwiddie and Fletcher both got hurt late in the first half within just moments of each other. The team was just devastated in the second half, and Washington came out at home at Heck Edmondson and blew the Buffaloes out.
If UCLA won and Arizona lost, the two teams would be tied atop the standings, but UCLA lost, and now Stanford is 9-5. The Cardinal with a great chance to make the tournament. Right now, Bell, as there's a foul call in Arizona, I think you're going to have 6 Pac-12 teams with a really good chance. Joe Lunardi has Oregon among the first 4 out. The Ducks, if they keep winning, they've got a chance because of their pre-conference victories. Foul was on York. That's a second.
I'm riding Joe Lunardi's tsunami. That guy's awesome. Undefeated last year. And never forget that Colorado's only lost 1 home game this year. That was to UCLA. That was the first game after Dinwiddie and Fletcher went down.
Yep. Booker takes it all the way to the basket and spins it in. Colorado is 3 of 3 this half. Remember, they were 0 for 14 to start the first half. And who's going to score for Arizona? It was Aaron Gordon late against Arizona State, taking it to the basket a couple times in overtime. He gets that one to roll home, and it's back to a 6-point lead.
T.J. McConnell is doing an outstanding job at helping Aaron Gordon get going.
And a silly foul there by Gordon. That's his 3rd, picking that up 25 feet away. 2nd foul in Arizona here in the half. And I think Nick Johnson's telling him just that. Don't do that. Don't step out there and risk getting your 3rd foul. You're too valuable, especially with a depleted bench because of the Ashley injury.
You don't need to play defense when you're Aaron Gordon that far from the basket. Plus, I want to see him throw one down here again.
So do I. Nice move by Thomas. Gordon had to be careful not to get number 4. Remember, he fouled out against Utah midway through the second half. Gordon did, and had just 3 points, a season low. Johnson's jumper short. Tarczewski kept it alive, and Gordon's got it. He's going to try a 3 and knock it down. That's just his 2nd 3-pointer made in conference action, his 9th all year.
Who would have ever thought? That's got to be an offensive foul. Ill-advised play by Steve Booker. He's too good, too smart.
Good no call there. Glad they didn't call it on the defense. Here's Gordon. Great pass and finish. And Arizona is back up 9.
Tad Boyle needs a timeout here. Wild, careless play. Every possession so critical here. While we all wait with breathless agony for Aaron Gordon to throw one down here on Dr. J's 64th birthday. Happy birthday, Doctor. The ability of Aaron Gordon to step to the outside, but the down the lane penetration. Tad Boyle told us all day long, we cannot let the penetration and pass beat it. Penetration and score, that's one thing, but not penetration and dish. And Aaron Gordon has been a wonderful beneficiary of the unselfish leadership. Now, Wildcat fans here tonight at the Coors Center. Oh my gosh, they are quite brave.
We wondered who would step up. Arizona, and Gordon did. He scored the last 7 points for the Wildcats. Hey, we see Arizona fans wherever we go. They've got a great fan base all over the country. Last year at the Pac-12 tournament.
Well, they dominate this conference. And what Lute Olson laid the foundation for, what Sean Miller quickly stepped in and capitalized. And it's incredible to see fans like Pat and Rick at the hotels all the time, and just everybody having so much fun and so proud, so loyal with their Wildcats.
Trying to get to a Final Four for the first time since 2001. They won the 1997 national title. And we got an Arizona foul here on Hollis Jefferson. That's 3 on him, 3 on the Wildcats in the half. Colorado yet to commit a foul this half.
How many on Tarczewski and Aaron Gordon?
Gordon has 3, Tarczewski has 2. Anything else? We good. Colorado 31% from the floor, but much better here in the second half. Remember, they were shooting around 22% in the first half.
Great defense. Nick Johnson down low.
And Scott spinning, and Tarczewski. Well, you asked, how many fouls does he have?
Bill, he's got 3. My computer, like mine, tells me that's not good for Sean Miller.
Arizona on top of Colorado 42-33, and it's that time of the program where we venture into the great unknown with Bill Walton, another edition of Walton's World.
For those of us who cannot play basketball anymore, and I have been able to do that in 28 years, I can still ride my bike, and I love my bike. And what better place to do it than Colorado Boulder? That looks like the Morgul Bismarck course to me. It all started here years ago. Professional cycling here, the Redzinger, Mo Siegel, Celestial Seasonings, and Mike Eisner. Andy Hampton, just a legend in the world of cycling, still lives here half the year. And then Davis Finney, Connie Carpenter, they're the married couple. They were champions in Olympics, and Taylor is the current star for BMC. Tommy Danielson is a huge star for BMC. He lives here most of the year. And then Greg LeMond. Greg LeMond, I've seen a lot of championship performances in my life. What I witnessed for an 18-year-old Greg LeMond here in Colorado, the Coors Classic 1980, what he did on the Morgul Bismarck the last day, what he did on all those mountain passes, as great a championship performer as I have ever seen or known. Greg LeMond, thank you for the inspiration, Greg. I love my bike.
Hopefully the audience we just lost, because we're talking about biking in the middle of a college basketball game, will come back as Tarczewski is fouled on the way up. Wesley Gordon just committed his third. On the other end, Josh Scott was at the foul line. Made it a 7-point game, 15:44 to go in the second half. Tarczewski will be at the free throw line. And with more on Caleb Tarczewski, let's check with Holly Rowe.
Well, there's a myth out there. Maybe it's not a myth, but most big men are not terrific from the free throw line. But Caleb Tarczewski is. This season, he's shooting 79% from the line after just 63% last season. He's made 51 of his last 62 until that one that he just missed. But I talked to the young man. He said over the summer he did 100 free throws every single day. Plus, he said last year I was a little nervous playing in front of 14,000 in Arizona. There's only about 14,000 in his hometown in New Hampshire. He said he's past those nerves now.
And now 4 of 12. Holly as a team, Arizona. Hit of a 12-13-point lead if they made 75% of their free throws.
In the games that they've lost, just awful from the free throw line. Arizona State, Cal Berkeley. Problem for Tarczewski, he doesn't get enough attempts.
Great shot by Askia Booker, is starting to heat up. He didn't get a field goal until the final shot of the half. He now has 6 points. Johnson on the drive.
Beautiful pass.
And Johnson swishes through his first three-pointer of the night. Great screen by Tarczewski. And Johnson now with 14 points. And Xavier Johnson on the other end can't finish, but he'll go to the line. I know you're a big fan of Nick Johnson, Bill, as a Player of the Year candidate in the Pac-12.
Along the baseline, lays it off. He resets. The great screen by Tarczewski. Nick Johnson, when he plays like this, it just takes the team to a new height. And his ability to develop the consistent stroke. You know, his dad was a legendary player there in Arizona. His mom comes to all the games. They're both here tonight. And it's just a fantastic family story. Aunts, uncles, everything.
Hollis Jefferson just picked up his 4th foul.
Huge. And again, exacerbates the injury of Brandon Andrews.
Yes, and you've got Gordon and Tarczewski with 3 fouls apiece.
So if you're Colorado, just keep driving to the basket. And this guy, Big X Johnson, Josh Scott, they've got to learn what Bob McAdoo from North Carolina, what Dave Cowens from Florida State had. And that's how do you play successfully every game against somebody who's bigger, stronger, tougher, and get it done with your quickness, your skill, and your emotional commitment, your mental acuity.
Arizona ball leading by 7. Hall of Famer Bill Walton, Holly gave pass. York for 3. Same spot from where Johnson just drilled one. And Arizona's got the lead back up to double figures.
What a competitive response. That's championship basketball. Arizona got pummeled here a year ago. They've come out determined to not let that history repeat itself. Beautiful pass, Josh Scott.
Well, we talked about maybe they're finding their identity on what kind of a team they are without Brandon Ashley. As a foul called here on Gordon, Wesley Gordon, and that's 4 on him for Colorado. And Colorado does have some depth at that position, so Dustin Thomas, who is a starter, will come back into the game. But it's Arizona ball, a 10-point advantage.
Tad Boyle needs more from Wesley Gordon. He needs it from Dustin Thomas as well. Wesley Gordon grew up in Colorado Springs, mentored magnificently by Rick Barry down there. Rick's son Canyon grew up with all these guys, Josh Scott and Wesley Gordon. Nice defense, Dustin Thomas.
Johnson going to use the ball screen. Shot clock at 9 for Arizona. And a pull-up jumper. Foot on the line, but it counts for Johnson, who's having an outstanding night. The lead is 12. 51-39.
Perimeter jumpers. Who's going to ever stop Arizona if they shoot like that? Gabe York, Nick Johnson. T.J. McConnell has been superb when needed to put the ball in the basket. And his defense here against Askia Booker, outstanding.
Booker misses inside. Got it back, though.
Horchak getting it done for Sean Miller.
Xavier Johnson off balance. Banks it in. Maybe that'll get him going, Bill.
How many baskets for him today?
I can't look at the box score right now. Watching Johnson shoot the 3. 16 points for Johnson. That's that first field goal for Xavier Johnson, by the way, so there's your answer. Alley-oop. My goodness. Second Thunder dunk for Gordon, and it's a 12-point lead again.
Happy birthday, Dr. J. Throw it down one time. Dr. J, the single most universally loved, respected, and admired basketball player in the history of the game. The UMass Amherst legend with Rick Pitino.
Any other luminaries celebrating birthdays tonight? As Nick Johnson is called for the foul here. That's only his first.
In transition, beautiful spacing. A major problem in college basketball, normally in fast break opportunities, but Nick Johnson, that time Arizona, fabulous execution, the ability to throw it down and know who your guys are out there. And look what's happened for Aaron Gordon, is that when his guys, TJ and Nick, start looking to help him get an easy look as opposed to make him do it all by himself every time.
Still plenty of time, but can Colorado regain that momentum it had at the end of the first half and early here in the second half when they cut the Arizona lead to 4? Johnson tried to force a shot. Scott keeps it alive and out of bounds off of Arizona.
Holly was talking about Tarczewski's growth and development and evolution as a basketball player. Tad Boyle trying to set it up, but Tarczewski's he just looks so confident out there. He just says, this is my game. This is my space out here. I'm just going to dominate, and he's been doing that. Colorado has not been able to successfully execute in the basket area at all.
Oh, they say that one off Arizona again. Maybe it did off the knee of Scott, then it hit it.
It went off Tarczewski's foot there.
Okay. Arizona 53, Colorado 41. 8 minutes gone by here in the second half.
Betbury in studio over on ESPN2. 6th-ranked San Diego State getting all they can from New Mexico. Cameron Bairstow, a good early game, 10 points early. That two of them. New Mexico up 23-12. Over on ESPNU, Memphis up on Temple 40-32, and Wichita State now 29-0 from their win over Drake. Back to Boulder with Dave Pasch and Bill Walton.
And it's 53-41. Arizona on top by 12. 8 minutes gone by in the second half. Time for In the Groove, brought to you by Cheez-Its. And Nick Johnson's 16 points.
It's 1 and 2 back to the groove as Nick Johnson has put on a clinic. That was the very first play of the game. Offensive rebounds. His ability to get to the hoop, going to his strong right hand. They might want to force it left, but when he does go left, his ability to pull up for the great jumper. And then up against the shot clock with nothing happening, he just says, no, I'm going to shoot a long two-pointer. Nick Johnson, the type of player, the type of human being that championships are built around.
Out of bounds off Tarczewski. Bill, you were wishing Dr. J happy birthday. You know, last week we said happy birthday Abe Lincoln. How about happy birthday George Washington and SportsCenter's Jay Harris, Bill?
Oh, fantastic. Please, back to the game.
Hey, stop stealing my line. Scott posting up on Tarczewski.
How is George's left hand?
I don't know. How does he ride a bike? That's what I really would like to know. I think our fans would as well. Steal by McConnell. 2-on-2. McConnell driving, has it rejected, but a foul. And McConnell shaken up.
This guy's tough. We saw him barely able to walk off the court in the Oregon victory down in Tucson. Speaking of bikes, did you stop in at University Bicycles here on Pearl Street while you were in town?
Didn't have a chance.
What a historical reference point. What a museum. What a temple. What a shrine. The past, the present, the future, all on display. Thank you, Rob. Thank you, Lester.
Yeah, you see McConnell holding the left ankle. Stalls are committed to foul. 13 foul in Colorado, and McConnell gets the first free throw.
But McConnell's one of those guys who's always thinking ahead. Sean Miller today, during practice, referred to TJ during practice to the rest of the team as the coach on the floor. I don't think I've ever heard any coach ever say that in front of the whole group.
That was interesting, yeah.
And But TJ, he knows everything. He thinks everything, and he knows that he can't let the other team see that he's banged up right here.
Lead is back to 14 for Arizona. Led by as many as 17 in the first half. It was 22-5 at one point. Right now, an 18-8 run.
And Tarczewski is just in the groove defensively here. Great.
Connell, another steal. Here comes Aaron Gordon. Here comes the show. Well, you asked for it, Bill, earlier.
Dr. J beaming. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Aaron Gordon. Throw it down one time.
All started with McConnell.
TJ McConnell in the passing lane, knowing he's got Tarczewski behind him. He gets it. He gets by the defender. He gets hammered, thrown to the floor, up to the floor to Aaron Gordon. You can only hope those go in when he puts so much preparation into it.
13 points for Gordon. Scott short.
Tarczewski again.
And on the possession arrow, it will be Arizona ball. It's starting to get away from Colorado here.
Their offense, nothing there. Tarczewski's completely sealed off the middle. Perimeter jumpers are not happening. You're not having a big game from Ski Booker. You're not having a big game from Big X. Josh Scott is not able to get inside to deal against Tarczewski. Offense wins championships, and they got 41 points after 30 minutes of play.
And Arizona with 26 points in 10 minutes. Remember, we had the UCLA game. Colorado gave up 56 in the second half to UCLA. Arizona having a really good start offensively here to the second half as Johnson with a sweet move banks it home. It's an 18-point lead for Arizona, and Johnson with 18 points.
And the crowd here stunned, disappointed, only one loss, and you know it's turning when the crowd starts to blame the announcers.
Booker able to knock it down. Let's see if they can build on that, but they got to get a stop. Arizona number 4 in the country, likely to move up with Syracuse suffering 2 losses this week. Big three by Pitts. He hit one in the first half. He's got 2 tonight. He had 4 the entire season coming into the game.
Well, he's a big-time player. Comes out of De La Salle High School in the East Bay of San Francisco. His dad and Joe Montana, best of friends, after all their children grew up together and playing there at De La Salle. Joe Montana was a football player, by the way.
Thank you. Tarczewski with a rebound off the Xavier Johnson miss.
This is the best game I've seen Tarczewski play.
You said that last game. Tarczewski with the jam. McConnell with a great dish. And it's a blowout. 21-point lead and a timeout by Colorado. How about McConnell on both ends?
Make a list. Everybody for Arizona is playing fantastic. TJ McConnell off the high screen, and then the roll, the open up. Fabulous execution, the team game, thinking for others. Arizona showing why they're the best team and the best program in the Pac-12.
ABC has an NBA doubleheader Sunday. At 1 Eastern, it's the Clippers and Thunder. Then at 3:30, the Bulls and Heat. Will LeBron play? He's questionable, broke his nose on Thursday. It all starts with NBA Countdown presented by Speed Stick here at 12:30. You ever seen a guy get his nose broken and still finish the play and dunk it?
Yeah. LeBron's really good, and I think he'll be fine.
27-10 run for Arizona over the last 9 minutes.
But how great is LeBron in terms of what he's been able to do going down to South Florida like that, and teaming up with Riley and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh and Shane Battier and all the guys that, you know, that create the culture, the same culture that Tad Boyle is trying to build here. And it all starts at the top, and Tad Boyle is a fantastic guy, grows up right here in Colorado. Greeley makes a decision in his life after a life-threatening car accident. He was on his way to becoming a multi-billionaire in the financial world. He gets hit in a car accident, wakes up, says, hey, I'm changing my life. I'm going to go work with young people. Starts at the University of Oregon, goes to Kansas, and now he's here as the head guy. And it's absolutely fantastic. But tonight, they are getting their hats handed to them. My computer-like brain shows me that's a 19-point lead. Ouch.
Actually, it's 21. But look at what Tad Boyle has done.
21?
Yep.
Man.
64.
I must have a virus.
43.
Thank you.
You should have just stopped it at the Tad Boyle. Knocked out of bounds by Johnson. But you're right about Boyle. He's done a tremendous job. He's turned this into a viable basketball program. A team that can compete for the NCAA tournament year in, year out. They found a home here in the Pac-12, and they've made this conference better.
They were ranked 15th before the injuries to Dinwiddie and Fletcher. 15th in the country, not 15th in the Pac-12.
Xavier Johnson and Nick Johnson with a rebound. Arizona starting to lock it down on defense again and controlling the glass. Nick Johnson called for traveling, took steps before he put the ball on the floor. Arizona finishing up essentially a 3-game road trip, if you call the game at Arizona State part of the road trip.
That's a road trip.
And so after tonight, they'll have 2 more road games. They've won 19 straight at home. They'll play Cal. Will be there next Wednesday, 9 Eastern, ESPN2.
Cal's the team that beat Arizona. Justin Cobb made the remarkable shot, and Cal really hasn't been able to build on that, sadly.
But they're still in the mix for an NCAA tournament berth. Here's Hopkins.
Wow. One more pass.
Aaron Gordon with an easy rebound, and Colorado's gone cold again.
Eli standing wide open in the corner.
Buffalo's at 30% from the floor, and Arizona now back over 50.
It's the Wildcats who are scratching and clawing and leading their own stampede.
Shot clock at 5. Johnson over Scott, fouled on the attempt. That's a 2-point shot. And Johnson will have a chance to get points. 19 and 20 at the line when we come back. T.J. McConnell transferred from Duquesne, such a big factor in this 24-2 record. A big steal. Aaron Gordon with the big-time jam, and a beautiful look by McConnell. Another dunk, this one by Tarczewski. Arizona blowing out the Buffaloes.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. And in part by Wendy's.
Arizona 13 of 16 from the floor in the second half.
Oh,
my computer like mine says that's
pretty darn good.
81%. Here's Holly.
Not one here since 1973. You know, part of the factor is the elevation, 5,345 feet according to his T-shirt. But what Arizona did is changed up their travel schedule a little bit this week. They went to Salt Lake City, played Wednesday, but instead of staying Salt Lake City, they came here right after that game at 3 o'clock in the morning. They arrived to get to Boulder. They had a running practice, an hour and a half, no contact, but getting their cardio in shape so that they could acclimate to this altitude a little bit better. They've hydrated well. It doesn't seem like it's bothered them here, guys, and they're on track to get their first win here since 1973.
Bill, how is it as a big playing in this kind of environment with the altitude?
Plenty of high altitude training here, Dave. I love playing up here. It's tough in terms of the burst that you have right at the beginning when you're short of breath, but you take an early timeout, you regroup, you recover. The hydration so critical. Arizona has the luxury of having one of the top guys in the country, Chris Rounds, doing their strength and conditioning and nutritional program that they're all working on. You see how big and strong and powerful that they are. The dryness of the air, I think, has a huge effect on playing here in Colorado because you don't have the normal layer of sweat on your hands in the field for the ball.
Nick Johnson now with 20 points. Colorado started hot, 4 of 4 in the second half, cut the Arizona lead to 4, but just 3 of 12 since. Got a foul here called on Hollis Jefferson, who just fouled out, but at this point, I don't think it matters. 23-point lead with 7:36 to go.
Well, there's no widespread panic on the Arizona team. They play in these tough games. They play in front of the best crowds, and that has a huge impact. And that whole concept that Lute Olson established, that Sean Miller has carried over, we'll go anywhere and play anybody, anytime. We want a game. We want to show off what we have here in Arizona, and they have come up here and handed the Buffaloes their skin.
You can make a case for Arizona. I know we've got a month left as the #1 overall seed. The BPI that we use, Basketball Power Index, has them #1. Think about some of their wins. At San Diego State, they beat Duke. They won at Michigan. This is a tremendous win, especially if this margin holds. And considering they've lost one of their best players as well.
Okay, and this adds the fact that the adjustment that Sean Miller made with the starting lineup. Got a little press here. See if Colorado can do anything to turn their seemingly destiny right now around. But to go small when your normal game is big power, to take that kind of risk, put Gabe York in there, who's just done magnificently. Great drive.
3-point chance for Aaron Gordon. 7 of 10 from the floor. Great bounce back game for him after a season low 3 points, fouling out against Utah the other night.
Utah's good. Krzyzkowiak, he's got it going. We're going to be heading to Utah pretty soon, and that's fine with me. Love the Beehive State. But the sense of Arizona reestablishing their control with a new identity. And that's what great coaches, that's what great leaders do. Ball bounces the other way. Let's try something different. And it's worked.
Don't think Arizona will be #1. Probably Florida, perhaps Wichita State. But you look at the whole body of work for Arizona. Again, we still have plenty of time to go in the regular season as well as obviously the Pac-12 tournament. But Arizona certainly headed for a 1 seed. And the 1 to 2, Bill, we talked about this the other night. 1 to 2, it's a huge difference. History says you've got a much better chance as a 1 to make it to the Final Four.
Ask the tennis players, ask the volleyball players how important the seeding is, and they all tell you, we want that top one. And Arizona has earned that. They still have to go to Oregon and Oregon State. Never an easy trip over to Todd Tarczewski.
And now Gordon will try another 3, and he's got a good touch. He just needs some confidence. He's at 2 tonight. He's got 17 in the half and 19 on the night.
I just love the team game that we're seeing. T.J. McConnell, Nick Johnson, everybody passing the ball. Gabe York doing a marvelous job. Tarczewski sending him back one more time. Aaron Gordon doing everything.
25-point game. It was a 4-point game early in the second half.
And as a team, Arizona has done exactly what you live for on these big road games, where the fans are walking out, where the players are looking at each other, where the crowd is booing the announcers.
You or me. York missed the 3. Booker with the rebound. Or maybe both. Pull-up jumper. And York another rebound. What a night for him on the glass. Arizona dominating. It's the 9th rebound for York tonight.
And the loss of UCLA today at Stanford. UCLA had been playing fabulous ball. Couldn't get it untrailed the whole way. Tarczewski throwing it down. Tad Boyle needs a timeout.
So it's now they're 2 ahead of UCLA in the loss column, and they beat UCLA head-to-head. They don't play again in the regular season. An enormous Message sent by Arizona to the rest of the Pac-12 that maybe they figured things out here without Brandon Ashley. By far their best game since his injury.
They've come alive offensively, and now the separation. They'll move. They got 2 games up now on UCLA. Colorado, they're in third. Stanford still alive. Arizona State, a tough loss. Arizona State came in here earlier this week, and they got their hat handed to them by the Buffaloes. But Chinsky couldn't get anything going done. And Arizona tournament resume.
And this is what we're talking about with some of those great wins. I mean, at UCLA, tremendous win. We talked about the 3 pre-conference wins. You know, worst loss at Cal. That's an NCAA tournament team, and they lost Ashley 2 minutes into the game. And the other loss was in double overtime against their rivals last Friday, when Nick Johnson had a chance with less than a second left, almost hit a shot. The Pac-12 acknowledged that they missed calling a technical on Shahid Carson. Now, that may not have changed the outcome of the game, but you never know. There was only a second left in that game. Still a great win for Arizona State. I know they were disappointed with how they played the other night against Colorado. But they're still, I think, an NCAA tournament team, the Sun Devils.
Absolutely.
74-47. Scott on the drive.
An incalculable margin.
3-point chance here for Dustin Thomas, but there are no easy shots against Arizona's defense here in the second half. With only 2 losses all season, number 7 Duke looks to upset undefeated Notre Dame at home on Sunday at 1 Eastern ESPN. Women's college basketball, Duke Notre Dame Sunday at 1.
That's a women's game.
Yes.
Now that is outstanding. Notre Dame is so fun to watch. The speed and the pace that they play at. Duke is coming alive, building that program up, but Notre Dame's already there. Notre Dame is, you know, I want to see Duke, excuse me, I want to see Notre Dame play UConn in women's basketball.
Well, that could happen in the postseason. You and I saw Stanford about a month ago. Pretty good team that Tara Vanderveer has. Alley-oop, Gordon puts it in. And Aaron Gordon now with 19 in the second half. 21 points for the game.
Excellent pass there. Little X down the lane. The rotation a little bit too late. And when we come back, Matt Korchak on the line.
Matt Berry back in studio. What a finish we had between Duke and Syracuse. Rarely does a charge lead the story, but C.J. Fairs on Rodney Hood led to an ejection of Jim Boeheim, and Syracuse loses twice in a week. And it was absolutely crazy at Cameron Indoor. Plenty of coverage on SportsCenter following the game. Jim Boeheim went berserk. For now, back to Boulder with Dave and Bill.
And you can see Syracuse play on Monday night. Big Monday, presented by Verizon, part of Bracket Builder Week, as Syracuse faces Maryland. Then at 9, Oklahoma takes on number 8, Kansas.
And the boulders have been crushed and turned into pavement here. But what I like about this game tonight is Arizona's offense. They've always won with defense and rebounding in the Sean Miller era. When they play offense like this, we saw it against Oregon State after they barely escaped Oregon. But when they shoot the ball, when they move the ball like this, when they're able to get into the lane, and this Gabe York into the starting lineup has just really worked magnificently for Sean Miller.
81% shooting from the floor in the second half for Arizona. Aaron Gordon with 19 of his 21 points since intermission. He's tied a career high with 21 points. Nick Johnson has 20 points, 11 in the second half. Those two guys have outscored Colorado as a team here in the second half.
Another great aspect of this Wildcat squad is that the stats don't mean anything to any of the guys. All they care about is winning and losing, and this guy, T.J. McConnell, he sets that up.
And a career high for Aaron Gordon, 23 points, 10 of 13 shooting, and it's a 27-point lead.
And that's why I really like Syracuse's team, too, because Tyler Ennis, he plays the same style.
Who's the best team right now? You said earlier you think Florida will be number 1. You've seen Arizona in person. I know you've watched all these other teams. Who's the best team in college basketball? There's some people that still think it's Syracuse, even with the loss at Duke and the loss at home to Boston College.
Syracuse is good, but they play like Arizona so many games right down to the wire. That takes a toll. The way they extended the season in college basketball. They gave you another 30 days at the beginning of practice. Used to be October 15th. Now you got 30 days before that to get going. It's very, very difficult to sustain these young guys who are just finding their own way out there. The Wildcats go to the bench here. Aaron Gordon, Tarczewski, Nick Johnson, everybody making a great celebratory walk there. But
and Bill, I think you can really make a case for Wichita State as the best team in the country. And I think you have to factor in last year when talking about them. They went to the Final Four. So, yes, obviously they're not playing the type of teams that Syracuse, Arizona, Florida are playing every night. But they're a great team. They went to the Final Four. They haven't lost this year.
I don't get to see Wichita State. I can't talk to them about them. I do get to see Florida. I do get to see Arizona. I do get to see Duke and Syracuse. Florida is doing really well. Florida's not as big as Arizona. If Tarczewski plays like this every game, Patrick Young is very, very good. And those guards for Florida and Billy Donovan, that style, that culture that they have. But what I saw tonight, against really all odds coming in, Colorado, these guys, they knew they were going to win tonight. You could feel it in the city. Student section.
Let me just throw into Kansas before you get back to criticizing the interstates here in Colorado. Kansas, another team that you can make a case for as the best team in college basketball right now.
Kansas has the talent. They're so hard to figure out.
Yep, true.
And is Embiid healthy? We can only hope. Are there guards willing to sacrifice at Kansas for the betterment of the team and for the success of the big guys?
Well, Arizona certainly making a case for it being back, if not at the top, certainly deserving of its top 4 ranking. It should be higher after tonight with the losses to Syracuse this week. Don't forget, SportsCenter up next. Highlights from that terrific game at Cameron Indoor tonight as May scores. And Jim Boeheim tossed from the game late. I'll have that story, Cameron Indoor, as well as all the highlights from this game. And will LeBron James go after suffering a broken nose? Will he play tomorrow on ABC? And Michael Sam meeting the media, as did all the other players at the Combine. 2 minutes to go here. 81-53 Arizona
I think LeBron will be okay. I have confidence in him. He's a good player. That guy's tough. And what a magnificent package he has. Oh, my gosh. Did you see what Walt Frazier said?
About LeBron?
Yeah. They asked Walt, easily one of the 15 greatest players in the history of basketball. They asked him how he would do guarding LeBron. and LeBron and Walt said, well, come on, LeBron would he'd just jump over the top of me and throw it down.
Meanwhile, Ben Mills at the free throw line gets the second one.
Congratulations, Ben. Your last home game here. What a great college career.
Check in with Holly.
Well, this unfortunate Arizona fan, I talked to him before the game, and bless his heart, he really committed. He went full face blue paint, but it's kind of turquoise. I said, what went wrong in your paint job? He said, well, I went to Walmart. They said it was blue, but I feel like I'm representing Duke tonight. But he said, hey, at least I tried.
You know, you shouldn't have shown that as another three goes by Jacob Hazard, because I think Walt may get an idea to put that face on next game.
But we have to mention, you're talking about Duke and the blue faces. The guy that just made that last jumper is Walt Hazard from UCLA. That's his grandson, Jacob Hazard. And Walt Hazard and UCLA, their first championship, they took down the Blue Devils, just blew them out with unbelievable offense, led by their great full-court pressing defense without a single starter on the team taller than 6'5". Jacob Hazard. Now, his grandmother, Walt's wife, was a cheerleader at UCLA. And just an absolute angel, the simple twist of fate. And to see Jacob and all his brothers and the entire family, Walt and Jaleesa, have 4 children of their own, and this is one of their grandchildren. What a great deal. I love this game.
And believe it or not, none of that was from Wikipedia. 84-56, Arizona leading. And here's Hazard again. This is a he scored the last 5, and the lead is 30 for the Wildcats. It was 4 at the 17-minute mark. And 55 second-half points for Arizona. Remember, UCLA scored 56, and if you're Tad Boyle, and he's preached defense, and they've been a solid defensive team, but that's twice now against the best teams in the conference. Their defense has not gotten a job done in the second half.
Keep it in perspective, keep it relative. They're coming along, Colorado is.
Here's George King, and Hazard takes it away from him.
Come on, Jacob. Go in there, throw one down. Come on, throw it.
Pass, Korchak. Throw it down, big man, one time.
Not Korchak. All right, a senior himself. Born in Tucson. Military parents. Oh, what a touch. Ben Mills, we've got a show out here. What a game, what a night. High in the Rockies.
Arizona will improve to 25-2. It'll be the third 25-win season for Sean Miller in just 5 years at Arizona. They're 12-2 now in the conference, in command with 4 Pac-12 games remaining. UCLA lost today. Colorado falls to 9-6. And Arizona shoots 60% from the field, somewhere around 80% in the second half, as they take care of Colorado tonight in Boulder, 88-61. A career high 23 from Aaron Gordon. Nick Johnson with 20. Sports Center up next here on ESPN. For Holly Rowe and Hall of Famer Bill Walton, I'm Dave Pasch. So long from Coors Event Center in Boulder. Aaron Gordon with several highlight jams. Tarczewski had a couple of stuffs as Arizona gets its best win since the Brandon Ashley injury. They blow out Colorado 88-61. Sports Center right now.